one of the world's most populated cities. If you're thinking about moving to Shanghai, you might want to act fast. A new government plans to put a firm limit on just how many people can live in the said city. Here's the report.
Shanghai, China's booming economic hub, is currently home to more than 24 million residents. But under a newly adopted master plan, that number will be capped at 25 million through the year 2035. The goal? To tackle what the Chinese government calls big city disease, a term used to describe the growing issues of air pollution, traffic congestion, and overburdened public services like healthcare and education. The State Council says it will also reduce the amount of land available for future development. Hoping to slow the city's rapid urban sprawl, it is a trend we're seeing elsewhere too. Beijing is also aiming to cap its population at 23 million. Plans are already in motion to move the government offices in a brand new city roughly 50 miles to the south. Shanghai's bold decision may shape the future of city planning worldwide. For countries like the Philippines, the solution might lie in strengthening other regions, not just limiting the cities. In the Philippines, a similar move might not work as easily. Many Filipinos move to the Metro Manila for better opportunities. Without strong development in rural areas, strict limits could only make life harder for the poor.
Ma?
Oo?
Ampun po ba ako?
Ha? Sino naman nagsabi sa'yo niyan?
Kasi ma, lagi na akong inaasar sa school eh. Ampun daw ako ma eh.
Anak, di ba sinabi ko sa'yo huwag ka magpapa-apekto sa sinasabi ng iba?
Pero ma, sabihin mo sa akin ma, ampun po ba ako? Ha? Ma! Ampun ba ako? Ha? Ay, paliwanag mo po ma. May paliwanag mo, bakit may 4 na baso ko sa likod?
Matagal na namin itinago ito sa'yo, anak. Pero sa palagay ko pa na pinagmalaman mo.
A bold move by Chinese officials with consequences yet to unfold. We'll be watching closely as Shanghai and other megacities grapple with the future of urban living. Further news about demographic transition is up next.
From short lives and big families to longer lives and smaller households. How has the global population changed over time? A new look at the world's demographic transition tells a powerful story of growth, aging, and transformation.
Back in the 1800s, life was short and families were large. High birth rates and high mortality kept population growth slow, but things were about to change. Around 1800, mortality began to decline in Europe, marking the start of what experts call the demographic transition. As health improved, people began to live longer and later. Fertility rates also dropped. The result? A population boom. Since 1800, the global population has grown 6 times over, and by 2100, it is expected to be 10 times larger. In the past, women spent up to 70% of their adult lives raising kids. Today, that number has dropped to just 14% in many countries, thanks to lower birth rates and longer lifespans. Back to you, Kizaya.
Thank you, Joanne. It's a transformation that reshaped economies, families, and the way we live. And with the transition expected to complete by 2100, the world is entering a new era. Older, smaller, and very different from the one that came before. Tune in for more news about mortality declines.
from deadly diseases to modern medicine. How has the world's life expectancy evolved? Here's a look at the long journey of declining mortality. Let's hear it now from Bianca.
The global decline in mortality began around 1800 in Northwest Europe, thanks to better hygiene, nutrition, and control of infectious diseases. As people earned more, living conditions improved, and so did a survival. Later on, medical advances, vaccines, and better food storage helped reduce death from famine and disease. In recent years, the focus shifted to preventing chronic illnesses like heart disease and cancer. In just a few decades, countries like India and China have doubled life expectancy. And if current trends continue, some experts believe people could live past 100 by the year of 2100.
From 45 to possibly 109 years, the decline in mortality is one of the most remarkable achievements in human history. And the journey isn't over yet.
Kain tayo, may dala kang merienda.
Uy! Saan galing?
Birthday ng anak ni Maring Nenet. Nag-uwi ako.
Balutin mo ako ng hiwaga ng iyong pagmamahal. Hayaang matakpan ang kinam na di magtatagal. Mabuti pa kaya'y maging bituing walang ningning. Kung kapalit nito'y walang paglaho mang pagtingin. Balutin mo ako ng hiwaga ng iyong pagmamahal.
Mare, nakita mo ba si Junjun?
Why are families having fewer children today? The fertility transition explains how economics and modern life changed parenting. In the late 1800s, family in Europe started having fewer children. As child survival improved, parents invested more in each child's education and well-being. With rising incomes and more women working, raising kids became more expensive and time-consuming, leading to smaller families. Modern life has reshaped how we think about having children, focusing on quality over quantity.
How do fertility and mortality shape population growth? Let's break down the global trends over the past century. Between 1950 and 2050, countries worldwide have followed different demographic paths. Europe's trajectory from 1800 to 1950 shows lower fertility and mortality rates, which is similar to today's more developed nations.
Countries like India and the least developed countries had higher fertility and mortality in 1950, resulting in rapid population growth. In contrast, more developed nations saw slower growth. Over the past 50 years, fertility and mortality rates have converged globally, although differences remain. Today, the average person lives in a country with a fertility rate just above 2 and a life expectancy of 68 years, compared to 77 years in the United States. Despite global improvements, there are still stark differences in income and life expectancy between high and low income countries. The demographic trends continue to shape our world.
The demographic transition, a shift in population trends, has been changing the world for over 200 years. Let's take a look at how these changes will shape the future.
From 1 billion people in 1800 to possibly 9.5 billion by 2100. The world's population will keep growing. However, the aging population is one of the most significant changes, with life expectancy doubling and the median age rising from the low 20s to the low 40s.
Many developed countries, like those in Europe, are already seeing negative population growth.
By 2050, Europe's population is projected to decline by 13%.
Thank you.
How is it? Babe, will you marry me?
Yes?
I'm excited to spend the rest of my life with you, babe.
I love you, Kito.
Paking? Ano nangyayari dito?
Hala?
Anong ginagawa mo dito?
Kito, sino siya?
Dentist ko, babe.
Dentist?
Pakito! Sinasabi ko na nga ba?
I can explain.
Dami.
Families are having fewer children, and childbearing is now concentrated in fewer years of a woman's life. With longer lifespans, people are spending more adult years focusing on careers, hobbies, and other pursuits.
Fewer children means parents can invest more in each one, creating a balance between quality and quantity. These changes are shaping not just families, but economies and societies worldwide.
As the global population continues to age and shrink in some regions, we'll see new challenges and opportunities arise. The demographic transition is far from over, and its effects are still unfolding.